This is my BMW M5 competition, and although it does look pretty rough, it's come quite a long way. You've probably seen tons of videos online of people buying crash cars for a fraction of their original value to then rebuild them. And I thought, that looks pretty easy. Maybe I should try it. But it turns out when I bought this BMW M5 from auction, I was in for a surprise. For the past few months, my friend Will and I have been tirelessly putting this thing back together. We took off the damaged parts, repaired the frame damage, but then hit our first of many roadblocks. The engine was damaged. From there, we had to remove it to fix anything we could and then put it back in the car. But with every 2 steps forward, we made a discovery that took us 1 step back. Finally though, after all those struggles, we think we have everything we need to get this car running. We think, that's a key phrase. First things first, we've mostly gotten all of the wires connected for the car. And that's great news, because that means hopefully when we turn it on, all the electronics will work. That hopefully will be the case again, but it probably won't be. But one thing that we did forget is this plug. It's really hard because this car has so many electronics. It's hard to get everything right the first time. So before we make any progress here, we need to plug this in, but there's a bit of a situation, of course, otherwise I wouldn't be explaining it to you. And that situation is this plug plugs into something back here that I simply cannot reach. There's just no way. I've tried for like 30 minutes and I cut my hand up very badly trying to do it. So what I think the new course of action is, we're just gonna take this off, quickly fix that, and then we can get on to the actual difficult stuff. This was just a mistake, but it's a fixable mistake. Let me solve it. I think it must plug in upside down, not the right side up. Sorry.
1 hour later.
I'm pretending to do it for camera, but Will actually do it.
Oh, my foot!
Oh no, he's stuck!
God dang. All right, we get it.
BMW's trying to get us.
That plug was really annoying and it was impossible to film, but we got it.
With that plug taken care of, we can reinstall the ECU, which was blocking our access to the plug. Now we can get on to some of the more difficult tasks at hand. Something that needs to get done is we need to fix this wiring loom. It's not good. Check this out. You can see it's seen better days. Luckily for me though, everything seems to be color coordinated. So all I have to do is connect the wires back together based on color. No wiring expert, but I think I can do that. So this might take a second. Now I'm not a wiring expert by any standard. Before the M5, I basically avoided touching electronics at all costs when working on cars. But because the accident crushed so many wiring harnesses on the car, we have to fix them. So I have to at least try. Thankfully, we aren't doing any custom work, so all I have to do right now is match up the wires based on their colors and connect them back together where they're crushed. To do this, I'm just stripping the wires back, connecting all of the copper inside as best I can, and then using a heat shrink to seal everything off and hold the wires together. Is it the best way to do it? I'm honestly not sure, but I think it'll work. And replacing this entire wiring harness is not really an option. So we'll have to see what happens when we try to fire the car up. And after a bit too much splicing, wrapping, and sealing, we should be good to go. All right, well, it's certainly not the prettiest thing you've ever seen, and frankly, I could have done it wrong. But I'm definitely feeling better about this. And hopefully when we plug these in, they'll work fine. Hopefully. This is only slightly sketchy, but it should only be a matter of putting wires together that match each other. The only thing is I just never done it before, so I have no idea if I'm doing it correctly. But I think that will work. So on to the next problem. The next problem on the M5 is the front crash bar. This piece, well, this is the crash bar, and it's a bit mangled from the crash, which makes a whole lot of sense with it being the crash bar. But the thing is it's less mangled than you might expect because the crash was so high up that it actually kind of dodged this whole piece. And this is quite an expensive part, as you might imagine, with everything on this car. But this is especially expensive. It's like over $1,000. And all ours has to it, in terms of damage, is just some bends. So I'm gonna try to unbend it and then use it. I think that'll be fine. I'm hoping. So let's do that. Now when we took the crash bar off initially, it actually came out super easily. It is likely that if the frame of the car is tweaked or the structural integrity of the crash bar was damaged, it would not be so easy to remove and install. so we're banking on that and reusing this one from the vehicle. We want to make sure that everything still lines up and bolts in properly, so I'm going to just heat up the metal with a torch and try to hammer it back into as close to the initial shape as possible. Thankfully, the other side wasn't damaged at all, so we have a reference of what it should look like. And now, with a bit of brute force and ignorance, it's starting to look as it should.
Not too bad, if I do say so myself. This is our old crash bar finally repaired. Well, mostly repaired. As you can see, it's not perfectly straight, and there is a bit of a gash, a cut in the aluminum up here. That is the weakest point of the aluminum. It's not really an important part. I have some extra aluminum repair that I'm gonna fill that in with so that it's strong and it looks a little better, but to be honest, no one is gonna see this thing. The most important part is that it's still gonna be good in a crash, which it should be because none of the actual main structure got damaged. And second most importantly, it needs to be straight so that everything mounts to it properly. And that it is, or at least it should be, unless, it's a very, very small bend, but I can't see anything else wrong with this thing. So it should be good to go, and we've saved ourselves some money. On to the next problem. This is a lot of little fires that we need to put out for this car.
This is a test of the crankshaft early merch warning system. You will now be hearing from the captain.
Hello all, it's your favorite idiot with a camera, and I'm here to warn you about an upcoming limited merch drop. Will and I have been working tirelessly to get the best possible quality merch with cool designs at a fair price. They will only last though for a super short period of time with limited stock. So if you want some and you want to get there early, you should head over to www.captaincrankshaft.com. And you may even get a special extra discount code. Now the money this merch drop makes is going straight back into making even better content while also getting you a sweet piece of clothing. It's taken us a while to launch merch. People have been asking for it, and that's because it's hard to find a good supplier, and we've finally done it. A lot of suppliers have given us stuff that is uncomfortable and the design washes off in the washer, or it shrinks too much, or it's just absolutely terrible. Finally though, we have something really good that I'm happy and proud to launch. They're super soft and they do not get messed up in the wash. Trust me, I washed them about 100 times and my water bill has gone through the roof because of it. But it was worth it because we now know that they last a long time. I could still wash them probably another 100 times and it would be fine. www.captaincrankshaft.com. And thank you so much to all of you who support us. Even if you're not buying merch, I just appreciate you watching the videos. It helps us greatly. And if you have some funds and you want a cool piece of merch, it will also be supporting us and you get something cool. So don't forget to sign up. And now back to the regularly scheduled program. That's a hard word to say for some reason. I struggle with that. That was like the 5th take. Now, one of the most important parts of starting this car is gonna be making sure all of the fluids stay inside of it. The most difficult part of all the fluids by far will be the coolant. In the last episode, we started to route all of the hoses, which turned out to be much more difficult than it sounds. We're still waiting on a few more hoses and parts to finish routing everything, but for now, I can work on getting the 2 external radiators fully mounted up so we have one less step to do when everything arrives. Installing these radiators is a simple process, but it's allowing me to use a new tool we got, which is actually super cool.
This right here, greatest thing ever invented. I'm missing a bolt, but not only can I figure out if I had a bolt, which size it is, on the back side you can figure out what hole you have so you can figure out what bolts you need, if that makes any sense. This is a lifesaver though. It's this size. Now I go find a bolt.
With the right bolts located and both of the external radiators installed, we can now start building the main radiator pack, which I think might be a bit more difficult, unfortunately. The next most important thing, and this one's very important, is the old radiator pack. There's a lot that goes in here, including a AC condenser, a radiator, well, 2 radiators, and a transmission cooler. And it's a bit confusing, and I need to figure out what order it goes in. And the fan's not here yet, but I'm gonna try my best to get it together as best I can. This is so expensive, by the way. We thought about just buying an entire replacement one, but they don't come up for sale very often from Crash Cars, and as you might imagine, most Crash Cars completely destroy them. So you need a rear accident one to find a good radiator pack. So we've had to buy some used stuff. These are good. These were expensive because they were new, and they're from our friends at FCP Euro, so huge thank you to FCP Euro for getting us these.
If you need any parts for your European car, you should go check it out, link in description. But what we didn't get from FCP Euro was a transmission cooler. Ours was destroyed, and this one is close to destroyed, but apparently it works. And it was way, way cheaper. This was still $200. But if it was not as mangled as it is, it would probably be like $600. On top of that, we also have the AC condenser. This was like $300, but if it wasn't so mangled, it would be like $700. So you can see the trend of how everything is very expensive. And now I'm gonna attempt to put them into the radiator pack in the correct order. It's a little confusing, but I think I can figure it out.
Unfortunately, I can't find any guides online about how to build a radiator pack for an F90 M5. Surprise, surprise. So all of this is just gonna be guesswork based loosely on diagrams and pictures that we can find. Everything should just line up and clip together, but unfortunately, it's not. And I'm starting to think there's a reason why. The F90 M5 had two different variations of its cooling system for earlier and later cars. And something annoying that's already happened to us before is that it's very unclear which parts are for which system. Our new secondary radiator doesn't seem to be the exact right size for the rest of our cooling system. But luckily, it does appear that with a bit of finagling, we still might be able to get it to work. At least enough to start the car, but potentially even permanently. So I guess we're gonna have to just cross our fingers and see what happens. We have a slight dilemma. So, the radiator pack is mostly together. I'm still mildly confused, but I think not confused too much to the point where we won't be able to figure it out. As you can see, it's here and mostly put together. However, the mounting system, let's take a look. Here is one of the mounts. There's a similar one on that side. These reduce vibration, so it clicks into here, and as you can see, it's rubber, so I can move it a little bit, and if there's bumps, they are absorbed into that. Now on this side, you can see this has like a little protruding thing, and that goes in there. That's all good and well, except when you look at the other side. This side doesn't have that. And I have now, through research, determined that it does need that, which makes a whole lot of sense, hence why the mount's on the car. So I had to order that off of eBay, a used one from a 7 Series. I guess it's the same part. That won't stop us from getting the car started though. We'll just need to get that on correctly when we want to drive the car. Yeah, but I think for now that task is mostly done. So success. Next step on our M5 adventure is to drain the old oil so we can put the new oil in. Now I have no idea how much oil still exists in this engine because the oil cooler was broken when we got it and there was much oil on the ground. However,
it would be a good sign if there's a lot of oil.
It'd be great if there was a lot of oil, and if the oil, I don't know why we didn't think of this sooner, but it would be great to know that the oil isn't all sparkly and has engine components inside it now. So we're gonna see how much oil's left, and then it could definitely. Yeah. It could be bad. So I'm gonna get something to open this up with. I'm gonna get something to pick up the oil with, and then we're gonna see what happens here. Yeah. Are you ready?
Am I ready for metallic oils? Watch there just be none. Oh, there's some oil.
I got oil! Really weirdly just on my knee though. It looks good!
Yeah, it looks old but good.
Thankfully, the oil is actually looking pretty healthy, so we can let it all drain out and plug the hole. While we're down here, we're also going to drain the transmission fluid. Not only did the car lose a lot during the accident, but we also don't know how hard it was driven, so sometimes it's better to just be safe and replace it. With the old fluid drained out, we can use a transfer pump to pump all of the new fluid in until it starts to drip out of the fill plug. This will not be the final amount of fluid the car needs. To get that, we'll have to run it and let it fill into the lines and coolers, but it will be enough fluid to where we can comfortably turn the car on. With that done, we can lower the car down to the ground and then fill it with some new oil. We're using 0W30, which is what BMW recommends, but it's also really expensive. So hopefully it runs right and doesn't leak out of anything so we don't have to waste it all. With that done, the new hoses and fan are finally here, so we can start to reassemble the cooling system to fill it up for the first start.
It's gotta slide down for a little bit more than you go. No, I don't think these slide through there. You're right.
With the fan installed, we can start to route and plug in all of the hoses for the coolant. It's a bit of a tedious process, and if we get anything wrong, we could cause the whole system to fight against itself and potentially even explode. Although, I'm hoping not. But thankfully, after consulting a few diagrams and a bit of trial and error, I think we have everything plugged in correctly. So now, we can start to fill the system with coolant. Just a little nervous though.
Oh my god, leaking. Plug the hole.
Where?
Right here.
Oh my god. Oh my god, we need the thing, Will.
What is it?
It's the sensor hole. It appears that we're missing a sensor, and unfortunately, we can't get it today. But rather than wait, we're gonna just try to start the car with the hole plugged up. With that done, all we have left to do is reconnect to the battery, and then plug in the car and try to fire it up, which is absolutely terrifying. We're gonna try to jump it right now and see if the electronics come on. I think the battery is very dead, but we've just reconnected our horrible wiring job, and now we'll find out. What are you turning it to?
Alright, well the lights are on in the car. Are you gonna start it? Or do you want me to?
I don't know, I guess I'll start it.
I don't mind doing it.
This is horrifying.
This is literally the scariest thing ever.
We should try and close that.
Alright man, just go for it, honestly.
Is it good over there?
Yeah, everyone's hiding. I'll stand, I'll do it. Send it, come on man. Scaring me, man. No need for no build up.
I like a build-up. Light on the brake pedal.
Do not push the brake pedal hard. Oh, this is horrifying.
But I gotta tap it, right? So just like
Yeah, just lightly. Oh my god.
we don't have enough charge yet.
To start?
The electronics aren't coming on. I'm getting no dash at all.
Hey, you're getting orange, yellow lights though.
That's cool. That's cool unless it doesn't work.
Alright, turn it off. 1, 2. Jump pack. Jumped on there. Alright, send it. Come on.
Alright, I have the key. Okay, that's a good sign. That's a good sign.
Turn it off!
Now we're gonna hold on.
Start it up, man!
Hold on.
Oh my god, it's
That's a Rolls Royce game. That's
Yo, it's been coded.
We're getting a lot of warning lights.
Alright, turn it on.
Emergency call system malfunction.
That's normal.
Yeah.
They all do that.
Yeah, mine does that too.
Are you on the brakes? Turn it off! It runs! Oh my god!
Does that sound healthy?
Well, it's got no exhaust. It has no exhaust.
It's not better than that. That is insane.
Oh my god! It sounded demonic.
Is it running okay?
Yeah.
We should get the Autel and plug it in.
Yeah.
I would check.
Now that we know that it started.
Well, the car has somehow magically started, which is terrifying. We have an Autel, which should give us all of the codes that are being thrown on this car, and I imagine it's quite a lot because there's still quite a lot unplugged. But we're making progress. In fact, this ground wire should probably be plugged in somewhere. But
No, it's just for the fan, man. We don't need it.
all right, we don't even know what that's to actually.
Yeah.
That's probably a headlight ground.
Could be.
Of some sort. This is now reading the entire system. This is a fancy OBD2 scanner. And now we're gonna
What's
see
ASD?
over voltage. We'll figure that out. I'm gonna wait for this to scan everything. We have 31 codes for the body domain controller. And that is body domain controller total discharge detected. Is that fine?
Yeah, the battery's completely dead.
LIN power distribution box over voltage detected. Voltage supply terminal ? 30F fuse 11 faulty. Internal fuse 13 faulty in the front relay. IBS wake up line disconnection or short circuit to battery voltage.
Irritable bowels.
Engine compartment lid contact switch line faulty or fault.
That's fine.
Headlight beam throw adjustment system.
Well, we don't have
failure.
headlights.
Lights voltage protection active.
We don't have head.
Exterior mirror over voltage, washer jet heating, break-in wiring, or short circuit to B+. Compressor clutch line disconnection or short circuit to B+.
That's AC, right?
Yeah.
Compressor clutch,
Yeah.
control valve, short
Like
circuit to
clutch,
positive
so it
terminal.
doesn't overspin.
Wiring horn adhesive or short circuit to B+ or line disconnection. That makes sense. That's our horn. Implausible status of the turn signal function.
Just implausible.
Well, that is true. It's very implausible that they work, 'cause they're not there.
It's a BMW. You didn't pay your subscription.
Yeah.
Side rear seat, heat electronics, supply voltage outside of the valid range. Driver's seat, same thing. Then we have system evaluation electronics, non-contact tailgate opening, missing LIN components or communication possible. Crankshaft 1 torque receiver. That's bad.
That's bad.
No message from crankshaft 1 torque.
Probably.
Transmitter EC. No message from heat management engine control receiver. No message from vehicle electrical
Is there anything
system
about the
voltage
camshaft?
value. No message status emergency call.
Not yet.
So which one's bad? The crankshaft?
I'd say crank torque.
No message power management electrical load control. No message body blah 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 blah. What else we got? Exterior lights missing. Exterior lights missing. That's fine. No message from drivetrain.
The M5 now runs, but it has, as you saw, a ton of codes, all of which we need to figure out before we can actually get this car on the road. So we have a lot cut out for us here, and we still need to put the whole car kind of back together again. But at least we know the engine kind of works. Until we get the intakes on and the downpipes on, we won't know if the engine is running properly, but the fact that it works is great news, and I can sigh a little bit of relief here. However, there's a lot to do. So subscribe, and we'll try to get this thing back on the road. Who knows if we'll be able to do it, but so far so good for first time putting an M5 together.
Oh, you don't even got the
Putting that in the video.